That's New Zealand jazz great Kim Paterson from his new album, Lake Road, recorded with the Mike Nock Trio and featuring a guest appearance by Nathan Haines. The 84-year-old Paterson has been an integral part of the jazz scene both here in New Zealand and worldwide since the early 1960s. So with this new album just released on Thick Records, we invited Kim Paterson in to sit and have a chat about his long, illustrious career. You putting out your own records is kind of a major event. You've done a lot of sessions for lots of people over the years, but the ones under your own name are few and far between. So what brought this Lake Road record to fruition?
Well, it's because I have a lot of recordings on my hard drive of stuff that I did years ago, you know?
Yep.
There's so much stuff there. And there's a lot of stuff with Mike Nock as it happens.
Right. Because
we've known each other since we were 16.
Right.
I first met Mike when I left home when I was 16. There's some stories there, but
sure.
I've been aware that these recordings have been sitting on the hard drive, and he's on my second album, The Duende.
Right.
With some sessions that we did in Sydney.
Right.
But this is the same band recorded in my house in Takapuna, at Lake Road. Mm-hmm. And he was over here with his trio at one point, and I like to record, you know. I've got Pro Tools and some good microphones. Yep. I had a nice grand piano at that point. And you know, I just love to because to play live here is not so easy. There's not so many gigs.
Right.
You know, since I've been back in New Zealand. I mean, when I first came back, I did a lot of live playing mostly through Frank Gibson and the band called Space Case and Dr. Tree, those bands.
Yep.
And Jazzmobile was another band we had. We did a lot of live playing, but later in my life, the live gigs haven't been so easy, or it hasn't been so easy to find the rhythm section that I like to play with.
Right.
I'm not putting anybody down or anything, but you know, as I've got older, I've gone more back into the bebop style of playing, which is what I'm coming from originally. So I look for that kind of backing, which is not so easy to find.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So yeah.
And has your style changed over the years? When we listen to this new record, will we hear something different than could have heard 30, 40 years ago?
Well, this is not really a new record.
Okay.
I mean, it was recorded like 10, 15 years ago, most of the stuff.
Right.
If I was to make a record now, well, I made a record 2 years ago with Alex Ventling playing electric piano and me playing flugelhorn.
Right.
So that's more or less close to how I'd be playing now.
Gotcha.
That record called Conversations.
Right.
Which is mostly standards, but more lyrical, more laid back. It wasn't even supposed to be a record that we were just jamming at home.
Right.
And we listened back to it and thought, man, maybe this is good enough to be a record. So, yeah, but now I think my playing would be more towards how I originally wanted to play. You know, lyrical, good lines around the chord changes.
Yep.
Bebop, really,
Gotcha.
bebop.
Yep.
I mean, in the intervening years, I played a lot of commercial music. I was bringing up a family.
Right.
I needed money.
Got to pay the...
Yep. So I did all kinds of rock gigs, country, whatever was available, especially in Australia, you know. Tijuana Brass.
Yeah.
All of that, you know. But I always come back to the roots of blues and bebop, which is where I'm coming from.
Gotcha. So you talk about bebop.
Yeah.
What was it about bebop that stuck with you, that became the love of your life?
Originally, it wasn't bebop. Originally, it was Louis Armstrong.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
I used to spend Sundays with my birth mother, who didn't bring me up. And my life at home with my father and stepmother was less than perfect, shall we say.
Okay.
So I used to, by law, I'd spend Sundays with my birth mother, and she was into Louis and Duke Ellington.
Right.
She had all those 78s, which I've still got, those from her. And as soon as I heard Louis, and even Benny Goodman, I mean, I wanted to play the clarinet for a while too.
Yep.
But when I heard Louis, that was it, man. You know, I started. I mean, that's why I left home. I was practicing and driving everybody nuts, building amplifiers and playing records, and you know, driving them crazy. I mean, I had to leave. You know, there's no other option.
I had to leave.
But it was for a good cause. But then a few years later, I used to build shortwave radios, and I'm listening to Jazz Scene USA, Willis Conover.
Right.
I used to listen to that every night and go to school buggered every day. You know, I'd be up all night listening. Yeah. One night I hear Walkin' by Miles Davis, the original version with J.J. Johnson, Lucky Thompson, Kenny Clark, Horace Silver, Percy Heath.
Yeah.
And man, that just blew my mind totally. I changed. I went like that.
Right.
And that was bebop.
Yeah.
And next thing I'm listening to, when I first heard Charlie Parker, I thought he was playing a lot of crap, actually. I thought he was playing too many notes, because I was used to Louis Armstrong, Roy Eldridge, you know, those guys. But Dizzy sort of came in between. You could hear the swing style of Roy Eldridge and Charlie Parker in Dizzy's playing.
Yeah.
So that was like a bridge, you know?
Yep.
But Miles, like, totally freaked me out. You know, that Miles was, I changed.
Very good. All right, let's get back to the record, the Lake Road. So you have one original composition on it and a bunch of, for want of a better word, covers, but
standards.
Standards. Yeah. So one of them is by Eric Dolphy, who's a little out there from time to time. Tell me about that composition and the way you approached it.
It's a blues, which I love, of course, but it's different. If you listen to the chord changes, it's not standard blues chord changes. It's quite different, because Eric was different, you know, as many people know. And it appealed to me, because playing with Mike Nock, Mike is a master of harmony, and putting down a chord sheet like 2-4-5 is nothing to him, but it's different to the normal blues. So I thought that would be nice, you know, because I love the record that came out on. Also had Freddie Hubbard, which was a huge. I saw him several times live. He was a huge influence on me, and he was on that record. And Roy Haynes, who recently died.
Yeah.
So that was the reason, I guess,
why
I wanted to play that song.
Very good.
It's a little bit challenging. You know?
I'll bet it was.
Yeah.
Do you like to still challenge yourself?
Well, I would if I was still playing.
Oh, that's right. You told me when we were talking earlier.
I just challenge myself listening now.
Right. Yep.
You know, coming in the car, I was listening to Bill Evans.
Right.
Like 2 albums he made when he was strung out, and it's solo albums. And it's very creative. And I started thinking, I'm hearing the music differently now that I'm not playing. Yeah. And I realize now that when I was playing, I would hear the music in relation to myself, how I would want to play.
Right.
But now, when I listen to music, I listen to it totally open.
Right.
Like not relating it to myself. And I find I'm hearing it better. If anything, I'm hearing the form. It kind of makes
sense, doesn't it? I guess because
it's weird.
You're taking yourself out of the mix.
Yeah. It's like I'm really hearing the music now.
All right.
So maybe I should go back and play again.
Maybe well, probably wouldn't get much of an argument from folks. Now you have a youngster on your record, Nathan Haines.
Yeah.
What is he?
Well, he's relatively young.
Yeah, I know. Well, what will we hear him doing on your record?
He sings on 2 tracks beautifully. He's got a great voice. I don't know about now because he's had a throat operation.
Yes, so this is pre-throat that he's...
This is pre-throat operation. And his voice is beautiful.
'Cause I've been fooled in the past, and I still fall in love too easily. I fall in love too fast.
We had a relationship going back quite some time. He used to come and sit in at the London bar when I was playing there.
Oh, yeah.
And later on, I joined a band with him, which was a hip-hop band with Manuel Bundy and Peter Ehrlich. And we toured through New Zealand playing hip-hop.
Nice.
Dance. Unks, 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 all that, but playing over it. And we did The Big Day Out, which was very interesting because Manuel Bundy forgot the mini disc, and we had to improvise with
I love that.
with records.
I forgot the mini disc. That was like 95, was it? Somewhere back in there, 1995.
Yeah, maybe I don't remember.
I think it was.
But
I think I was there.
It was great. We didn't have any of the stuff we prepared,
Right.
and we just went for it. And I was playing percussion as well, and the people loved it. It just proved, improvising.
Yep.
Anyway, that's Nathan, and we did stuff together for a while. Yeah, but I got a little bit fed up with the hip hop, that rhythmic background, which doesn't change very much.
Yep.
I like a bit of variety.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
And your daughter is a musician as well. We should talk about her.
she's a great bass player.
That's right.
Yeah,
She played
Maria.
with Veruca Salt.
Lovely Maria.
Yeah. So what is she doing these days?
She's still playing. She's got something going with a lot of young guys. I can't remember what they're called. What's their name? Sorry, Maria.
She'll tell you later.
She'll tell me later. But she's doing tracks with Louise Post.
Right.
From
Veruca Salt.
Veruca Salt.
Yeah.
She's still
working with
hooked
her.
up with her and doing tracks remotely for her next record. And
Right.
yeah, she's got stuff going on, and she's mentoring young musicians, young rock, original sort of rock.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it rock. It's somewhere in between. It's quite beautiful, actually,
cool.
what they do.
Nice.
Yeah.
And did you have any reservations with her becoming a musician when the time came and
Not
it
at
began
all.
Not
Not at
all
all.
for it?
No, I was all for it.
Yeah.
And she went to jazz school in Wellington and did the jazz course, and then she was playing jazz with me too.
Right.
And somehow, being in New Zealand, I guess the opportunities in jazz weren't as great, and she went with a lot of her friends of her age group that were into rock and alternative rock and stuff like that, and she sort of went in that direction.
Yep.
Which is cool.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. So it sounds like you have a very open mind about music in general. You don't kind of put it in compartments and.
I try to, but I have love.
I'm sure you have your favorites, but that's.
Yeah.
But it's not at the exclusion
Well,
of
music
everything
is
else.
music. I love Eastern music. I love world music. I love African music.
Right.
I listen to a lot of that. I love Latin music. One of my best friends is Miguel Fuentes, is a great percussionist.
Right.
And he's on several of my records. And he lived with me for years, and I studied Latin music with him. So I play Latin percussion too. Not as well as he does, but
Yeah. And did you find New Zealand and then Australia, good places to work from here?
Well, Australia was great for
Yeah.
me, man. I left New Zealand in 66, something like that.
Yep.
I went to Sydney because of Bernie McGann. I don't know if you've heard of him.
I've heard the name.
The great
Yep.
Australian alto player. He was in New Zealand, and we played together here with a a Ray Charles type band led by a blind singer, and Maori girls singing like the Raylettes.
Right.
It was great.
Man, it sounds good.
Yeah, and we used to do Cannonball Adderley stuff in between, and yeah, that was Bernie. And then he went back to Sydney, and when I left New Zealand, I was getting out of a marriage, and I wanted to get into music. My friends were in Australia,
Yeah.
so I went there and hooked up with Bernie again. Did a lot of playing with him, and that was the beginning of my Australian experience. I found out about Mea Baba in Australia, which completely changed my life's direction, because before that I was kind of quite naughty in some ways. It straightened a lot of things out for me, you know, the spiritual side. Yeah, I have to say that.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you about the spiritual side. 'Cause he's still, Mayor Baba still shows up on the new record, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me about that.
That song, Gujarati Arti, is an arti, which is devotional song.
Right.
A prayer, devotional prayer. He actually wrote that. And they sing it at his samadhi, his tomb. They sing it every day there. And it's kind of, because I went to India 5 times,
Right.
you know, to study spirituality. And that song has become ingrained in my mind. So I wrote the song out as close as I could, because the way they sing it, it's not quantized the way Western music is. It's quite different, you know?
Yep.
So I wrote it down the best I could and gave the melody to Mike Nock, and he loved it, and he worked out some chords for it. And that's the basis of how we did that. Nathan plays some flute on it, and Roy Venkataraman played guitar. He's an Indian guy, and he plays beautiful. Andy Atwell played bass, and what else? That's it. I'm playing trumpet, and we played that song. I've done several versions of it in the past. Gujarati Arti. It's a beautiful melody. Yeah.
Okay. And then there's one track that's a composition of your own. What is the name of it?
The Center of My Heart.
You told me catch a falling star, so when I need it, there you are. But still your door's so very far, the center of my heart.
I wrote that in India. There's a theatre there at Mehrabad, where Mea Baba's tomb is. There's a theatre where they give performances and so forth. I did do some performances there with a black American guitar player who was a Mea Baba follower, great blues and standards player, and we gave a concert there in that theatre. But another time I went back to the theatre when there was nobody there, and that tune came to me. The melody, the center of my heart, and the words came too. So I wrote the tune and the melody there in that theatre.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very good. So what is next for you? You're not really playing these days, right? But it sounds like music is still a big part of your life.
I also play percussion and drums.
Right.
So I was a professional drummer for many years too,
Okay.
in Australia and in Hong Kong.
Right.
I had a drum gig in Hong Kong that was 7 hours a night, 7 nights a week. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
place. But I went there to work in the Hong Kong Hilton, but I worked in 2 bands, one on trumpet and one on drums.
Right.
So drums is, I could still play drums if I get the chance, you know.
Right.
Yeah. I might do some recording on drums.
Oh, cool. And do you still have a trumpet in the house somewhere?
I have a few of them.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I sold about 10 of them, but I've still got about 5 or 6 left.
Excellent. Very good. Well, sounds like it's still all happening. Keep on.
Well,
trumpet.
that's happening. Yeah, I don't know about live playing. I think that's finished.
Well,
You know, I mean, I'm 84 now. I remember hearing
well,
it.
I just saw the Farm Aid concert a couple weeks ago, and Willie Nelson was the headliner. He's 92, so
Yeah, but he doesn't play the trumpet.
that's true. And Bob Dylan was 84. He did a pretty good set, but again, he just stays behind his piano these days and doesn't do too much with his guitar anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And playing the trumpet at this age is
It'll take
something.
some out of you.
I can still do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was still playing well when I stopped, but practicing hours every day, and there's no gigs around like the music that I love to play.
Because you got to keep the lip in shape, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of your time.
Yep.
You know, I started thinking, well, I've got to stop sometime, and I'd rather stop when I'm still playing relatively well.
Yep.
A lot of trumpet players keep trying to play and they go down like a wilting flower. I call it a wilting flower.
All right. We don't want that. No.
Well, even the great players, you know, Freddie, Dizzy, Miles towards the end, you know, they were a shadow of what they were. And I think, why?
Yeah.
Why keep going? Just to make money, or because you've got a reputation? Is it your ego? Or I'd rather stop and say, well, I was still playing okay, you know.
If you enjoyed this episode of the 13th Floor's Music Talk series, please be sure to subscribe to the website or to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram and wherever you find your podcasts. There's a whole lot more to discover.